All right, guys, when we left off on the last video, we had 4 fraction strips finished. We had 1 whole, 1 half, 1 quarter, and 1/8. We're gonna do 4 more fraction strips right now. So I'm gonna push these ones that we finished on the last video off to the side. I'm gonna take these 4 that I have and just put them in front of me. I'm just gonna move this one back a little bit. So the first one we're gonna do is 1/3. So when I look at 1/3, what I wanna have happen is I want all my pieces to be the same size. So I'm gonna use my ruler starting at the 0 here, and you'll see that it's 21.5 centimeters apart. If I divide 21 divided by 3, I get 7. So I'm going to just make a mark just past the 7, about 7.2 or so. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this side and I'm going to fold it back to that line that I made at 7.2. Okay, and I'm just going to fold that over. Okay, then when I fold that back, I'm going to take the side that I put the line on and I'm going to fold it so that it comes to the fold that I made on the first one. And when I open that up, you'll see that my fold is pretty much right on the little line I made at 7.2. Okay, so I'm going to make a little line on this fold and a little line, if I can find my fold here that I made. Sometimes I fold it a little bit, it's easier to see. Okay. So as you can see, we have 3 parts made from this whole piece of rectangle, and this is one of those 3, or 1/3. There's another one of those 3, and here's another one of those 3. There we have 1/3. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do 1/6. So we actually can do it in the same way, we just have to add 1 more fold. So I'm going to take another one of my pieces, and once again put my ruler down so that it's at 21.5. Like we said, 21 divided by 3 is 7. So if we go just past the 7, about 7.2, and make a mark, then we're going to be able to fold it in thirds to start with. So we're just going to pick this up this side and move it so that it lines up with that little mark we made. Gonna make a good fold here. Okay. Then I'm gonna open it up. I'm gonna fold this end back to where this fold was made. I said the word fold lots of times, I know. Fold that over. And now I have the 1/3, the same as I made with this one. See how they line up nicely. To make it 1/6, I just have to put my pieces over top of each other and then fold them in half, right? Because 3 times 2 is 6. So if I make another fold, that's going to give me a nice 6. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that are pretty even. I'm going to make a little line on that one, that spot, and this spot. All right, and that's one of the 6 pieces. There's 1/6, there's 1/6, 1/6, 1/6, and 1/6. So now, counting the 4 that I already have, we've made 6 fraction strips. So we're going to just make 2 more. This time, we're going to do fifths. So to get fifths, it's a little tricky, but that's okay. You can see that, once again, it's 21.5. Now, 20 divided by 5 is 4 centimeters. So we're going to just cheat it up a little bit and go about 4.2 centimeters. And I'm going to measure 4.2 from this side, and I'm going to measure about 4.2 from the opposite side. Now what happens there is that now when I fold, I'm going to fold it so that, actually I might flip it over so it's a little easier to see. Fold it so that the little tick I made is right in the fold. And then same thing on this side, the little tick I made is right in the fold. All right. And then I'm going to make a little tick here and a little tick here, right where these parts meet down to the piece I'm folding. And I'm going to fold, just open these up, fold this one so that the tick is right in the new fold I'm making. And then on the opposite side, the little tick I made on this side, I'm going to put it where make a fold where that tick is. And you can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces that are all almost exactly the same size. So I'm going to make a little line at each of my folds. And this is one of those 5 pieces, or 1/5 of the rectangle. There's another 1/5. Here's another 1/5. Here's another 1/5. And there's another 1/5. So each of these are 1/5. Now, the very last one we're going to do is 1/10. And we do the same thing with it as far as when we were doing the fifths. We're just going to put one more fold in at the very end. So once again, I go a little over 4, about 4.2 here, and about 4.2 here. And I'll fold those in. Fold one. Sorry, I don't need my ruler anymore. I'll fold the other one. And then I'm going to make a little tick where this one comes into the rest of the rectangle, and another tick where this one does. And I'll make those 2 folds. There it is. So now I have those 1/5. Each of these is a 5th. But I want it to be 1/10. So I'm going to fold them back up one more time. They're pretty close. Fold it over. And then do one more good fold there. Get all of my folds nice and permanent. And you'll see that we have a line here and here. Oops. Here. There. There. I got a little skinny with this one. Just make that one go back just a little bit. It's okay if your line isn't perfectly on the fold, you want those pieces to be as even as they can be. Right? And then you can see there are 10 total pieces. So that's 1/10, and another 10th, and another 10th, and then keep going across. Each of these pieces is 1/10 of your whole rectangle. Now you might say to me, Mr. Kimball, you didn't do 1/7 and you didn't do 1/9. If you can figure out 1/7 and 1/9, go right ahead and make a 1/7 and a 1/9. But the only questions I'm going to ask you are going to be the ones that concern these particular fraction strips. So if you don't get a 1/7 and a 1/9, it's not going to hurt you for using the fraction strips on the assignments that I'm going to give you starting tomorrow. There you go, guys. Make sure you keep them together. I'm going to ask you to come back and look at these on the next assignment. Thanks, guys.